I just want to start off by saying it was really awesome and amazing to see Indiana Jones on the big screen once again. To see Harrison Ford bring his charm, his acting ability, and his physical acting ability to bring the character of Indiana Jones to life. Not only do we have an interesting story, the story actually flows very smoothly. Not only is there great and interesting dialogue that pulls you in, there's a lot of memorable quotes in this movie as well. We also have great action, great suspense, great use of on-location filming. And none of this works unless you have great characters like this movie does. We have a great female co-lead. We have some great sidekicks that you really care for. You have some of the worst villains that you just hate and you just really want to see them lose. And all of this stuff that I'm mentioning is all jam-packed into a 2-hour movie. Oh yeah, that was just my quick review of Raiders of the Lost Ark that was played last month in June on the big screen at Regal Cinema. And that was the one and only Indiana Jones movie that I never got to see on the big screen because I was a kid when it came out. And let me tell you, it was an amazing experience. And all that stuff that I just mentioned is very relevant for my next review. Did we need another Indiana Jones movie? Do I want to see Indiana Jones on another adventure on the big screen? Absolutely. Can they pull it off? Can they capture that lightning in the bottle again? Well, we're going to talk about it. I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, and here's my review for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Listen, I've been an Indiana Jones fan since I was a little kid. Yeah, that's me in my homemade costume right there. Yeah, and that's a shoelace for a whip in my mother's purse. Anyway, even as a little kid, I understood that the ending for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was not only a beautiful ending, it ended the trilogy just right. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I just wanted more! And we did, and maybe we shouldn't have. The movie opens up at the end of World War II, and we see a de-aged Indiana Jones fighting Nazis because they are in possession of what appears to be another biblical weapon that contains mucho power. Now, the first 20 minutes kind of feel like an Indiana Jones movie, and the de-aging that they use on Harrison Ford is probably the best I've ever seen. The longer it goes on, it looks less real and feels less like an Indiana Jones movie and feels more like a story mode to an Indiana Jones game. I don't know, I thought it was kind of cool, but also kind of weird to see a young, de-aged Indiana Jones using an old Harrison Ford voice. Something else I noticed, and I'm not sure if it's just a me thing, maybe you noticed it too, but over the years of watching Indiana Jones, I've noticed Harrison Ford does a lot of acting with his body. So you remember in the movie The Irishman when they de-aged Robert De Niro, so they made him look like he was in his 40s or maybe early 50s, but even though he looked young, he still kind of moved around like an old man. Listen, I know Harrison Ford's in his 80s and I give him a lot of credit, but I could tell in Dial of Destiny, a lot of the physical movements that the younger de-aged Indiana Jones was doing was performed by someone else. And believe me, we have seen another actor portray a young Indiana Jones and capture his physicality, and that was River Phoenix in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And in this early segment of the movie, we meet Indiana's newest best friend. No, not Marcus, Basil. Basil discovers that the Nazis possess something more powerful that they are just not aware of. The Dial of Arkham Asylum. I'm sorry, I just can't spit the word out of my mouth. I'm just gonna say the Dial of Chilaquiles.
You idiots!
So we have a big CGI fight and the Dial of Destiny goes missing. Now fast forward to an old, sad, angry, divorced, and about to be retired from teaching Indiana Jones. And this is the part of the movie where the Disney executives come up with this plan.
What we need is a new character!
We are now introduced to Phoebe, who is the daughter of Basil, and I'll just be honest, she's just one talking studio note.
We at the network want a dog with attitude. He's edgy. He's in your face.
Phoebe and Indiana go on one last adventure because the Nazi scientist that Indiana most likely killed in World War II somehow survived. What Indiana doesn't know is Phoebe doesn't want to put the dial in a museum. She just wants to take it, sell it, because
Easy money.
Sala's in the movie. You remember Sala. Yay! We love Sala. He's in the movie, but he's also old and sad. There is kind of a quick, sad exchange between Indy and Sala. At least I found it sad. Sala begs Indy almost like a dying wish, hey, take me on one last adventure with you. And Indiana Jones straight up says,
No!
So Indy goes after Phoebe and the dial, and this is where the movie loses me. The chemistry between Phoebe and Indiana Jones lacks so much. Please, ask me. Just ask me how much chemistry they have.
0.0.
I felt myself rewriting the movie in my head because I just did not care about what was going on. The only person I was kind of rooting for was Indiana Jones. The side characters just felt like buzzwords in a corporate meeting, and the story just had no flow.
Hey, this ain't art, it's business.
The more I was thinking about this movie as I was watching it, I realized Disney made a
big mistake. Big. Huge.
Because if this is supposed to be Indiana Jones' swan song, a big opportunity was missed. And before I go on my little rant, this isn't just nostalgia talking. But if Indiana Jones is going on one last ride and he needs a sidekick character, well, you bring someone with chemistry, charisma, sentimental value, a character that you just care for. A character with growth, a character arc, and someone that actually could bring on the action, then you bring back this guy. It just would have made more sense to bring Short Round back as a fellow student, turned apprentice, soon to be teacher. Someone who has documented all of Indy's adventures and also goes on his own adventures too. The chemistry, friend dynamic, and the father and son dynamic is already there. And not to mention, it could have been a really good crowd-pleasing movie. Honestly, I think they could have dropped the whole Dial of Destiny time traveling thing and just gone with something more biblical. They could have been searching for the Crown of Thorns because Nazi cells were looking for it because it contains power. I don't know, something like that. But if they just would have wrote Phoebe a little bit better, maybe I would have liked her instead of writing her like Captain Marvel. As someone who grew up with female action stars like Pam Grier, Sigourney Weaver, Linda Hamilton, hell, even Cynthia Rothrock. Hell, if the character of Maddie, played by Jennifer Lawrence from the movie No Hard Feelings, was written into this movie, I would have preferred her over Phoebe. Now, we've seen Indiana Jones travel to exotic locations. We've seen him on horseback. We've seen him in car chases. We've seen him in fistfights and gunfights. We have seen those adventures and the stories coming together. But to see Indiana Jones on a green screen surrounded by CGI, and not to mention a story that looks like it suffers from rewrites and multiple reshoots. The rumors were that Indiana Jones died early on in the film and that Phoebe took over, and after the movie ended, she would get her own Disney Plus series.
No!
And speaking of passing on the mantle, Steven Spielberg did not come back to direct this film because he felt, hey, maybe someone else deserves a shot. Honestly, in my opinion, it kind of feels like Spielberg and Lucas are being pushed out. Maybe because Kingdom of Crystal Skull wasn't great, but hey, he's done 3 out of 4 really good Indiana Jones movies.
That wasn't so bad, was it?
I am not even going to be putting the blame on director James Mangold because he knows how to direct a movie and he knows how to tell a good story. He's even made a simpler, cheaper, similar movie of an aging hero who is not what he used to be and who is going on one last adventure with a sidekick who happens to be his daughter. And if you already didn't know, that movie was Logan and manages to have a good story, great action, and a lot of heart. So yeah, the man knows how to tell a good story, but I'm sure he was getting a lot of notes from Disney producers. And I'm sure Mr. Mangold had one important message from the man upstairs.
All right, now get out there and make me some goddamn money.
One thing I could say is Harrison Ford is giving it his all, and he's definitely not dialing it in, no pun intended. John Williams' score was amazing as always, and if this was going to be the last Indiana Jones movie, it should have been a farewell with him, Lucas, and Spielberg. John Davies, who plays Sala, deserved a better farewell. Oh, and Antonio Banderas is in the movie, and he does a really good job, but the movie had other thoughts. His character was interesting and had charisma, and I wanted to know more about him, but it seems like the writers of this movie were just anti-charisma, and honestly, it just left me like this.
God damn it!
This is probably the longest, the messiest, and the safest Indiana Jones movie that there's ever been. I didn't love this movie, but I also didn't hate it. If you ask me, if you choose a popular IP simply just to make money and not tell a good story,
chose poorly.
my rating for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, I say stream it only. Unless you have a free pass, then I would say see it on the big screen. Or if you're like me and just pretend the first 3 films exist. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, always giving my honest opinions. And I'll see you at the movies.
Indiana Jones and the comfortable bed.
Get more out of life. Go out to a movie.